brings her vast experience from over 30 years in public administration to us today in her presentation on Back of the House Leadership. She will have an opportunity for questions at the end. Currently, she is the Executive Assistant at the Department of Community and Economic Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, Evelyn Chianelli.
Down because that's just going to make me more nervous, so I hope everybody can hear me okay. Thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning. I'm really thrilled to be here this morning, and I fully admit that I am very nervous standing here, but I did want to come and talk to you just to give you a little bit of perspective about my experience throughout life in general, and especially my experience at RULE. So as you said, my background is in public administration. I am in my 31st year of public service with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I grew up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and North Central Pennsylvania. Then I went to Penn State for an undergraduate degree in health planning and administration, and then a graduate degree in public administration. And when I was finishing my degree in public administration, I needed an internship. So I contacted one of my professors, my statistics professor in a graduate school. That wasn't his full-time job. His full-time job was as the executive director of a nonpartisan research office with the House of Representatives. So I contacted him, among some other folks, and said, I need an internship. Can I come to Harrisburg for an interview? He said, sure, come on down. And on my very first interview, I had set up some interviews for the rest of the day, that day too, but I was at that interview first. And when I went in, I sat down, and he said, I don't need an intern, I need a full-time person. Would you be interested in a full-time job in your field with benefits, with parking, and all that? And I said, well, yeah. So that's how I got to Harrisburg. I started with the House of Representatives as a research analyst for a nonpartisan research office, and I was there a little over 20 years, and then our office was closed due to a variety of reasons, but mostly because of budget cuts. And at that time, I transferred from the legislature to the executive branch in the State Department of Aging, where I worked in the secretary's office. I was a special assistant to the secretary. I was there for about 5 years, and then a little over 3 years ago, I transferred from Department of Aging to where I am now at the Department of Community and Economic Development as the executive assistant for one of our deputy secretaries. And both at the House on the legislative side, and now with my experience in the executive side of state government, my job has always been to provide support and background for the people who are typically standing here and giving motivational speeches and encouraging you all to try to believe the same things or to do what they want you to do. My job has been the support to help them get that information, get the background information that they need to be more public-facing for the organization. So that's why I wanted to talk about leadership in the back of the house. When I started RULE a little over 2 years ago in State College, I knew a little bit about the program, and then I went to State College and was sitting in the room, and I thought, my gosh, I have nothing in common with any of these people. They're all way smarter than I am. They have so much more experience. They're leaders. What am I doing here? And so on the drive home, I was composing my letter in my head, my resignation letter in my head on the way home. And I got home and my husband says, well, how'd it go? And I said, I don't know what I'm doing here. How am I going to get out of this? What did I sign up? That was a Sunday afternoon. Monday morning I had to go to work, and I had an even bigger anxiety attack, as one of my classmates and my friend Andrew back there in the back of the room can attest. Andrew, what did we get into? What are we going to do? And he calmed me down. He really backed me off the ledge. And I talked to some other colleagues and other friends, and they said, just give it a chance. You do have something to offer. And I will admit that it took me a long time to get to that, to get to a spot where I did think that I was a leader, because I was thinking of leadership in the wrong way. I was thinking of it as the leader is somebody who has people following them around and is giving commands and orders or assignments, whereas I'm the one who's following someone else around, and I'm taking the assignments and turning them back over to who I thought was the leader, and that's not really the case. So, like I said, I completed the program. I never thought I'd be able to stand up here and talk to you or talk to anybody. Someone asked me, do I give this talk all the time? No. This is the first time I've done it. So I had a couple of points that I wanted to get across, or a couple of stories that I wanted to tell, how I am able to stand here and do this. So, like I said, I had a huge anxiety attack after the first study institute, and what really set it off was when I found out you're going to have to be, you're part of a small group, and you will have to be part of the presentation at the end of the first year. And I'm saying, that's great. I'm really good with words. I'll write everything out for everybody. And then I found out, no, you actually have to be part of the actual presentation. And then I found out that you have to give a speech about who am I and why am I in RULE, and stand up here by yourself. So that's what really set me off. So I thought, how can I get better at this so that I'm not embarrassing myself or embarrassing my classmates, and how can I do a better job? And I remembered that I have a very good friend who has taught master's level communications classes. She was also a former Miss America, or not Miss America, Miss Pennsylvania and Mrs. Pennsylvania. She worked for, she was a director of communications for one of our former governors. So I thought, well, maybe that person can help me. So I go over to her house and I'd say, I have to give this speech, can you help me? She said, sure. So the next time I saw her, I had my speech all written out on a piece of paper, and I'm holding the paper, and she yelled at me, stop crinkling your paper, you're crinkling your paper. So then the next time I would come over, I'd put the paper down, and at least I wasn't crinkling the paper anymore. And I would get so far, and I would turn around and look at her and say, I'm not sure what to say here, or what. No, you have to keep talking. Keep talking. What you say, just keep talking. So I practice some more with her, and she has two small dogs. As you can see, I have to wander around and use my hands, talk about my hands. So I would stand in her living room and wave my hands around. The dogs are barking. I would keep talking. So she finally got me to that point. And then the last time that I practiced with her was a nice, warm, sunny day, and we were outside on her porch. and she lives near the Civil War Museum, and I was practicing, and a cannon went off. And I kept talking. So she said, see, you got it down now, you figured it out, just keep talking. Let's see, what other thing? Well, at any rate, that really helped me to be able to practice and realize that this is a friendly audience here, at least I hope so. And I'm very happy to see all of you. It was great talking with each of you during your interviews. Greg Wilson and I had a really fantastic time getting to meet all of you and getting to know you a little bit better. Does anybody have questions for me? I'm really, if you would have seen me 2 years ago, you wouldn't have thought that I would be able to stand out here and talk to you. So, does anybody have any questions or comments for me?
Just how has it changed your work life?
Oh, it definitely has given me a lot more confidence when I've been sitting in a meeting, a small meeting with groups or with people that I know, and it would become time to introduce yourself to the group. That's about all I can get out now. I stand up straighter, I think, and definitely have a lot more confidence. I realize that I do have something that I want to share with the group, and that I will speak up a lot more. That helped me a lot.
So my personal learning project is about leading from the middle, because I don't have positional power in my organization. So I'm curious, because you're kind of in the same situation, how you expanded your leadership within your role.
One of the things that I've done is I've volunteered for projects a lot more, and that, in my instance, that gave me a lot of, I got to know other people, other areas of the department more, of my department that I work in, and I've also found now that they realize that they can rely on me to help them with a project or find a resource for something that they might not have known about. Even at the time when I was, 30 years ago when I first started with the legislature, I always said I don't know the answer to whatever the question is, but my job is to find out who does know the answer. So I've been able to build a bunch of contacts over the years, and people make fun of me, but they say, oh, I need to know someone over in the Department of Health. Let's ask Evelyn, because she probably knows somebody in the Department of Health, and yes, I know somebody in the Department of Health that can help me out with that.
So getting to know people in broad areas is really
Exactly. Exactly. I have a wide range of knowledge, but it's only an inch deep.
No, it's not.
But I know where to find the answer. I don't necessarily know the answer.
What, being an interviewer, what was one thing that I guess you're looking for to help shape our class?
I think people from a variety of backgrounds, you all have a variety of backgrounds. I wanted to see people who were interested. One of the things that I always look for, no matter what type of interview it is, and when I go on interviews, I do the same thing, is when the interviewer says, do you have any questions? You should always have a question ready. It can be something very, very simple, but just have a question ready, and that was one of the things that I look for too. Maybe you could just say, oh, if you don't have a question, we talked about this earlier, I was going to ask about this, we've already covered that, but that is something that I typically look for when I'm interviewing anyone for an internship or for a job, or being on the other side, if I'm being considered for a position, I always make sure I have some questions ready.
I just want to say I appreciate you so much, and at work, I would say the way that you're a leader, just from my opinion, because I get the privilege of working with you every day, I'm so glad, is that there's a lot of people at work that I have to take things to just for a seal of approval. But when I come to you, it's because I actually value your input. So that's, I think, a really important fact to have.
Thank you. I'm very fortunate that I didn't, my background isn't in economic development or community development or anything like that. It's just simple, more broadly public administration. And I didn't know a whole lot about the department before I got there, but I must say I'm very fortunate to be with that department. And I love what I do every day. Get to see all parts of Pennsylvania and meet all different kinds of people, and I'm very fortunate that I have good people to work with and for at my department.
When you talk about getting involved in projects,
Mhm.
I'm curious, do you choose projects that stretch you even now, or projects that you feel that you'll gain insights? Like, how do you choose which projects you get involved with? And are they work-related or personal, or both?
Probably both. As far as work stuff, I try to get involved with a project that I might not know so much about. Like in our department, I'm with the community affairs portion of our department. So the economic development portion of our department does things, not that they do things differently, but that involves business community more, as opposed to local governments and the public aspect of a community. So I'm always looking for ways to learn more about the economic development, the business development, how they function in that part of our department. And for a personal project, right now, I'm in a bowling league, and one of my goals right now is to improve my average. So I haven't had too much luck doing that so far this year. So that's another personal project that I want to work on. But I have set a goal to practice more often, not just go on nights that we bowl, but go and practice throughout the week too.
Thank you for speaking up about how your experience has led to the back of the house leadership, because in reflecting a lot of our work, when it happened without those people that keep things moving in the office, and it reminds me to take a moment and thank Katie in particular in our office for everything she does, because it's, Katie, can you do this? Katie, can you do that? And her title of administrative assistant doesn't necessarily, I think to some people it doesn't represent the leadership role that she really has. And so your sharing reminds me that without people in the back of the house, those things wouldn't actually keep moving forward all the time. And we really need to make sure we say thank you. So,
Thank you.
Some people, I mean, I've heard that called servant leadership. And people might not like the word servant, but it's just like, it's a humble position, but it's definitely leadership.
Well, I picked the title Back of the House Leadership for two reasons. One, because I like theater stuff, and that's the back of the house is the loading and the making sure that the curtain goes up when it's supposed to go up and that kind of thing, but also because I had worked at the House of Representatives and I wasn't a legislator. I wasn't out talking to constituents, but the legislator needs people in the back of the house to make sure that that they have the supporting documents or supporting figures that they want to have their bill move through the legislature.
Everybody in the class want to make a comment,
I just wanted to say, I sat beside Evelyn in Bedford when we gave our UMI speeches, and I remember how nervous she was. Like, she wouldn't even look at me. And she was just like, she was freaking out, I'm not doing this, I can't do it. And it's just really, really cool to see how much you have grown never in a million years would I have thought that you would be up here speaking in front of all of these people and doing as great as you are. So it's just really cool to see the growth.
I have one more story that I wanted to share when we were in Pittsburgh. I think you guys did you do some impromptu speeches? Are you doing something tomorrow? You did some? Mine was scheduled for Pittsburgh, and I think I was in the second round of impromptu speeches. And my name was next on the list, right after a break. And I was sitting at the table like you guys are, and one of my classmates came up and sat down next to me, and she said, I am so glad I don't have to give my impromptu speech. And she looked at me, and she must have seen my eyes, this look of panic on my face, and she said, oh no, are you giving me? Yes, I'm next.
So, Evelyn, you are so sweet not to call me out on that. That's her though. She's so sweet. What did I do? I gave you my crystal.
I'm so sorry.
You are so sweet.
I wasn't going to go yet.
Well, what did you speak on with your impromptu speech?
My subject was travel. So I had another very gracious classmate that she said, I'll pick something easy for you, and she asked me about my experience with travel.
Evelyn, as one who has not yet given the impromptu speech, and I'm really nervous about the upcoming, it's like attending, what advice can you give because I don't have much of an opportunity for this kind of, any public speaking in my current job. So what advice would you give me for impromptu speaking?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I can give anybody when you're standing up here and you're nervous is remember that this, especially here, this is absolutely a friendly audience, and they want to see you succeed. They want to see you do well, and they're here to support you and to help you in any way they can. I guess try to be, whoever is introducing you will pick a topic that you're familiar with. So you're not going to have to talk about something that you don't know anything about. So you're very intelligent. I know from working with you that you'll do great. You just try. Believe me, Karen, I didn't think I'd be able to do this, but because of RULE, I am able to stand up here and to talk to all of you guys.
Thank you.
Sure.
I just want to thank you too. As 10 years in public service, I served as a teacher here in a local school district at Garden Spot High School. And I just want to also just ask you, I mean, with your years in public service now too, back of house leadership that you've had, what's some hopeful things that you see? I'm a lifelong Pennsylvanian too, and so just in light of all that and the back of house leadership that you've been involved in, can you give me 3 things that you're hopeful for the future of not only Pennsylvania but even maybe beyond in our?
I think about that stuff all the time too, because I'm a lifelong Pennsylvanian, and as I said, with my job I get to travel to all corners of all areas of the state. Whether it's, actually Monday we're going to be in Philadelphia, and I've been to very, very rural parts of the state as well. And one of the things that I'm hopeful, we hear a lot about when Pennsylvania had the coal industry or when Pennsylvania had the steel industry. All those years ago, we used to have all this great stuff in Pennsylvania. We still have great stuff in Pennsylvania. We have, it's beautiful here. It's very diverse here. You can find, no matter what recreational activity you want to do, you can find somewhere to do that in Pennsylvania. And one of the things that makes me hopeful is no matter what community you go into, there are always people there, and it might be a small group or it might be a very large group, who want to see their 2 blocks where their neighborhood is, that they want to see it succeed. And there's people, and I do this all the time. I live in Midtown Harrisburg on a very busy street, and there's often a lot of litter on the sidewalks. I didn't put it there, but I still go out every week and I pick it up. And if I found that if I haven't done it, I found that litter attracts more litter. Because people, they see the candy wrapper or whatever on the street, the next person walks by and says, oh, I'm done with my water bottle, somebody else already has a candy wrapper here, why shouldn't I take mine all the way to the garbage can? So I go around and pick it up, and then I've noticed then that has spread. I see other people doing that too. So there is, I think we have a lot that is gone for us in Pennsylvania. And I can be hopeful about the future. I'm sorry, I don't think I got 3 things.
That's okay.
There, but
No, thank you.
just in general, sure.
You have one down here from Matt.
Okay. Evelyn, I have seen the growth in you from when you first came to the department. It's, you know, at first I thought you just didn't want to say hi to anyone.
I'm very shy.
I didn't know you were very shy. So there's definitely a difference since you've gone through the RULE program. So it's good to see that, you know, there's positive things that can come out of it. I wanted to ask if there are still personal growth challenges that you're going through, or things that you want to achieve that you have yet to do to help with the shyness and things that you experience.
Oh, yeah, I'm still, I'm always going to be shy, I guess, and I'm definitely an introvert who don't like to be the center of attention, and I'm going to be happy being in the back of the house where no one needs to see me. Yeah, there's always both personal and professional growth. One of the things that I was not expecting to get out of the RULE program was that it would help me so much with my self-confidence and being able to speak up more and share my opinions or my views on whatever the subject might be. And yeah, I would like to be able to, sometimes it would be nice to be able to speak up a little bit more, but I'm still getting it. It's taking me a while.
So it's actually kind of funny because I never saw any of the growth. I just saw you from last year, and I remember. So I worked directly with the city manager, and like I'm trying to like essentially run this office, and I'm trying to like make sure that everything's kind of working. And he leaves for a meeting, like we're getting things done, and it was funny because like I saw you with Rick Colello in St. Mary's, and you came and visited, and I looked at my boss and I said, "That's what I want to be. I want to be like her." And then I got a call from Rick Colello the next day saying, asking or telling me that he was nominating me for the RULE program, and now I'm here. So I also think that you were something that I strive to be, keeping with you still in the program. So
Thank you. Yeah, we have good visit that day.
yeah, we hope you get to back.
So I like it.
You comfortable with self-disclosure?
Sure.
So with Evelyn, and let's all answer this question. How many of us came to RULE because we were pushed to come to RULE? So about 30%, not the majority. So there are some people that didn't choose specifically to come to RULE. And one of those persons, hi Cowboy, Zach Kohorsky, RULE
16.
What'd you just say today?
Oh, 16, sorry.
Law student in his last term internship. Evelyn was one of the persons who someone else pushed into RULE. And she told you she was uncomfortable. She told you she was resigning. She works for one of my friends. So she had to go to him and say, I don't want to do this anymore. And if any of you thought that, it was very normal, because I didn't want to do it after my first study institute either, but for different reasons. But she was already pushed, and Rick said to her, "You must talk to JD." And to her, that was sheer hell penance. Sheer hell penance. She couldn't see how that would improve the situation. Her wanting to resign, she did not want to do that. So we had a conversation, and I told you to give it a loss.
I think at least through the next study institute?
Yeah, I said a year.
Oh, a year.
I said a year. And I said, it will be very helpful if someday you can describe how you're feeling to others who are in the room that may be feeling the same thing. And then Rick mentioned to me when he was at public meetings that Evelyn used to come to meetings and he'd say, people would say to Evelyn, "Hi, who are you? What do you do?" "I'm Evelyn, I work for Rick." So now, Evelyn answers all the questions. And Evelyn has the confidence to talk about what she does, and she's giving answers to everybody in the state, not just quietly doing that, but with confidence doing that, because she believed in herself. And she did the work, she put in the work, and it is work. This doesn't just happen, it doesn't just like soak in, oh yeah, now I have it. It's not like that. You have to put in the work, you have to put in the grit, you have to cry, you have to want to leave. You have to want to leave, and you have to prevail to stay when you don't want to stay. You got to do it for you. You got to do it for you. Help me in thanking Evelyn Chianelli for her extraordinary.
Okay, so Rule Shining Star. We now, from not wanting to be here to a Rule Shining Star, this is a gift from our class.
Thank you.
From the local kettle kitchen owned by Allison's family.
Okay.
And we think this is a blessed moment.
Thank
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.